Alright, so I've been going through YouTube and looking for a specific search that is a very intriguing subject for me, and it's a very interesting approach to trying to figure out the problem of possibly a misunderstanding. And so the search I've been trying to search for the terms in YouTube is creation and creator is one, or one and the same. Uh, you could even rephrase it to creation is part of the creator, or the creator is part of the creation. Yet, I cannot find any videos, be it Christian, be it Muslim, be it atheist, or any of these, so-called religious people out there. I cannot find a single explanation that actually even comes close to this idea. Everybody tries to say, well, here's the creation and here's the creator separately from the creation. I don't even know if they. It seems like it seems to me that they do not know what creation actually means. It seems like people think that creation and uh, making or inventing, making something, they think it's the same thing. It's the same concept to them. In their head, it seems to be that it's the same. However, the way I've seen it or noticed it is that, uh, or even you could say, God revealed it to me this way, okay, is that creation and creator is one thing. And when I mean one, I mean like actually one big energy, uh, to the point that it's so unified, to the point that the creation is the creator, and the creator is the energy, the creation. Excuse me. So you do realize that there's a big difference. They keep saying that creator created everything, the universe, right? And they keep bringing these examples up as when we people create, as they say, anything here in this world, say a car or technology or whatever it is, any idea even. Sorry about that. The problem here is that creating something is very different from making something. So when you make, say for example, this phone here, when you make it, you take minerals and I don't know what else due to some kind of steels or metals or whatever from the ground, essentially from this physical world, from atoms. You figure out how to compile them together, and you get this. You get glass, separate. These are all separate components. It's not one thing. Okay, this is a bunch of crap together that then we have learned as humans to call this as one thing, as a phone. Well, this is actually you could even call it a pocket computer. So, what is it, a phone or is it a computer at this point? We don't even know how to describe these things because we keep coming up with these stupid ideas of, oh, this is one thing. No, it's not one thing. It has two cameras in it. It has some flash in it, LED flash, right? Which has dual function to it. It's not just a flash; it's also a flashlight. You have, speakers on this thing, and this take even a speaker or a camera. They're also compiled of a bunch of little components. You got glass in there as well, or you got paper in the speakers or plastic. You got copper in there. You got solder in there, a bunch of it. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Okay, and it's all these things that we find here, a little bit plastic, we here find a little bit of glass and a little bit of steel, aluminum or whatever it may be, copper. And then we put it in a special form. We give it a special place in here, and then like as far as you go, then the more complex this thing gets, and then therefore we feel like we've created something. Well, no, if you break it down to every single little part in it and what the part is actually made out of, uh, it is not one thing, yet it almost at the same time is. So, how it's not one thing is because it's made out of a whole bunch of and nothing but components. But then when you put these components together, we deceivingly call it as one thing, thinking that it operates as one unit. It doesn't quite work like that. But the other aspect of it, how it is actually one, is because it's made out of the same stuff. All of this is just nothing but a whole bunch of compilation of, the same minerals and materials that we find in nature, which really kind of, to speed it up a bit, all breaks down to atoms. This is all just a bunch of atoms put together. So, yeah, it's basically one thing. It's nothing different than from me and you and everybody else and everything else. Uh, it's made out of the same stuff, essentially. However, this is all the process of inventing or the process of making. Okay? You take something here, you take something there, you take something here, and then you manipulate it if you even want to, and then you can create, if you will, which is not creating, you make, you compile, you put together this one thing that then we think, wow, we have created it. No, you compiled it from other things that were already there. Now, if you were to create, that would be very different. That means you make, not even make, you basically create something out of nothing. Like, that's a very different concept. It's not even close. It's not even remotely close to, how we create this here. This is making. This is not creating. Okay, so what is creation then? Is the question. See, that's what I've been asking this question for everybody here, and including YouTube. I cannot find any answers. The only thing that I find is nothing new that I haven't heard, and it's basically the same thing that I just described to you. It's God making stuff. No, God doesn't make things. He creates things. Now, the way I've been realized, or I've been realizing and have realized what creation really is, it's a very different concept from making. Making is something separate from the brain, let's put it that way, the intelligence that is trying to make this. So uh, this would be making, something out of something else. Making is almost like manipulating something into something else. So we manipulated a big piece of rock, of glass, and then we've melted it down and put it in a special form or whatever. All this process, we put this whole process to it all, and then we get what we call now is tempered glass. Okay, it didn't start off this way. We've kind of manipulated the big glass rock into this super thin glass plate that we call a screen nowadays. Now, creating, what happens there, the biggest difference is it's something out of nothing. Well, uh, it's almost like, I don't know how, but it came to me to understand that when we make something, it's separate from our intelligent mind, right? It's all on the outside of you. So you look on the outside of you and see, oh, there's the rock, and then there's the the machine that I put the rock through, and voila, here I have this piece of glass or whatever, piece of metal, steel, whatever you want to say, you've made. Well, it's all outside of you. It's all separate from you as the designer, the intelligence behind all this. That's trying to. I'm so sorry. I've been sneezing and yawning the whole day. Anyway, the way I see the creator creating things, it cannot be it cannot be separate from the creator. Okay, it possibly cannot be like that because then it's making. Uh, when he creates something, he or she or it or all of the above, it has to be an integral part of it. So therefore, every creation is actually part of the creator itself. It all comprises or compiles into one big thing that we call the creator. That's how he or she or it creates things through itself, by itself, and for itself. Again, the scriptures talk about that too. So, therefore, there's this huge difference where people do not seem to understand that when the creator creates stuff, it's not the same concept as what we feel like we make things. See, that's why there's this misconception where people think, well, I created this phone, or I created Apple computers, or I created the Toyota car. No, you didn't create anything. You can only create something if you created yourself. Then you would be, a valid creator. But if you are a creation of yourself already, or yourself a creation already, of someone else creating you, something else perhaps even, creating you, how can you all of a sudden start saying, I'm a creator, I created this or that? You're a creation already. How can a creation become a creator? It's not possible. Alright? Creation is already a creation. That's it. It can't be a creator because then there's no difference between a creator and a creation. If the creation can be a creator. So, if you realize that you haven't created yourself, and you cannot create anything else, then therefore you realize that you are a creation. Everything else is a creation, but not your creation. None of this is your creation. It's all of it is a creation from the creator, the one and only creator out there, or in here, or around here. Therefore, you cannot mix those two things together and say creation and making is the same thing. It's not the same thing. The creator, the way he, let's just keep it at he, I guess. The way he creates things is they're integral part of him. They cannot be separate. Once they're separate from him, then they themselves already are creators as well. Because there can only be a creator in this world. There can't be a creation without a creator. If there's creation, well, there's gotta be a creator. And then those two things are still on the same level. Creation on here, creator up here. You cannot mix the two. Although when I say that they are the same thing, well, that's because there's this hierarchy, God's hierarchy, right? There's only one at the very top that, the energy source where everything starts from. And then everything else is there. But it's all one thing, one big pyramid of creation. You can't say, well, the creator just kind of popped everything out into this existence. Well, then where is the creator? What's he doing right now? How can he be separate from the creation? That just makes no sense. It makes sense here, logically, in our physical world, with our own human logic, that this is separate from me, this is not me. Well, yeah, because this is making, it's not creating. When you create something out of nothing, you can't possibly do it except through it being part of you. It's a very deep concept. I don't know if people can understand it, Maybe that's why I couldn't find any YouTube videos on this subject and this kind of approach to the concept of creation. Uh, Therefore, it might be something way out there for people, and you're gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're weird, and you're just keep talking about creation and creator and all this crap, and I don't understand what you're saying. Well, if you just think about it more deeply, and if you actually examine it, and the differences between the making process of something and the creation of something out of nothing, if you really start thinking about these things, dwelling in it, then you're going to start realizing the same thing that I have realized, that this is only way it's possible for a creator to create stuff is for it to be part of him. Therefore, he says, love one another as I have loved you. Or what you do to another, you do unto me. All these things, these are concepts that he's trying to explain to people, that uh, all of this is me. This is all God, you and other people. And so if you're harming someone, including yourself, I suppose, at this point, then you're harming the creator itself, or himself. So I hope this makes at least any sense to someone. Please, let me know in the comments or anything like that. Would be really appreciating any feedback and any thoughts. Maybe even some links if someone finds something, along the lines of this topic. That would be awesome. Thank you.